Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. It finally happened. The moment Commanders fans have been waiting for all season. After weeks of frustration, confusion, and disappointment surrounding the team's direction, the fanbase has a glimmer of hope again, thanks to the post-trade deadline mock draft that has Washington landing one of college football's most electrifying young defenders. In a move that feels like a breath of fresh air after months of stale air and missteps, the Commanders are projected to select Clemson edge rusher TJ Parker with the 10th overall pick. And honestly, if this scenario came true, it would be the exact kind of move that could re-energize an organization desperately searching for identity, purpose, and, most importantly, a future. To really appreciate why this selection means so much, you have to understand where the Commanders are right now. This season has been a train wreck. Fans expected change at the trade deadline, a sell-off, a reset, something to prove that new general manager Adam Peters recognized the reality staring him in the face. The team isn't good enough. It's not close. The mix of veterans and aging defenders that Peters decided to run back from last year's roster simply hasn't worked. Instead of cohesion, we've seen breakdowns. Instead of leadership, we've seen wear and tear. And yet, the trade deadline came and went with silence from the front office. No fire sale, no future assets, no bold moves. Just more of the same. It's the kind of inaction that drives a fan base crazy. And for a moment, it looked like Washington's season was destined to drift into irrelevance with nothing to show for it but empty seats and bitter hearts. But then, Cody Williams from Fansided dropped his post-trade deadline mock draft, and suddenly, Commanders fans had something tangible to hold on to, something that represented hope. Williams slotted TJ Parker to Washington with the 10th overall pick, and it felt right. It felt like the kind of move a team makes when it's finally ready to build towards something, not cling to what used to be. Parker isn't just another name in the draft pool. He's an explosive, technically gifted edge rusher who plays with a motor that doesn't stop. He's got the power, the flexibility, the burst off the line, everything a team like Washington desperately needs. Clemson's season might be collapsing around him, but Parker himself continues to show flashes of brilliance that scream NFL ready. And make no mistake, the Commanders need exactly that kind of energy. Right now, Washington's pass rush is a shadow of what it once was. Dorrance Armstrong Jr. was having a breakout year before his knee injury ended his season prematurely, and beyond him, there's not much to get excited about. The defensive front, once a source of pride for the franchise, has grown old and predictable. The youth movement that should have begun last offseason never really materialized, and now Peters finds himself facing the consequences. When you neglect a key position group in today's NFL, especially one as vital as the pass rush, you pay the price. And Washington has been paying it every Sunday. That's why TJ Parker makes so much sense. This kid is a weapon. Even when Clemson is trailing, even when the opposing offense is running the ball to kill clock, Parker finds ways to impact plays. He's not just a sack artist, he's disruptive. His quickness off the snap forces offensive linemen to panic. His hand placement and leverage are already more advanced than many veterans in the league. He's not perfect. His tackling in space can be inconsistent, and there are moments when his aggression leads him to overcommit, but the raw materials are there. You can build around this kind of player. You can mold him into the cornerstone of a defense. And for a team like the Commanders, that's exactly what's needed right now. Of course, this potential draft pick raises a bigger question. What kind of team will Parker be walking into if this prediction comes true? Because as things stand, Washington isn't just a few players away. They're at a crossroads. Jaden Daniels' injury only adds to the uncertainty, but truthfully, even before that, this season already felt lost. The Commanders have lacked rhythm, lacked cohesion, and lacked leadership from the top down. The energy around the organization has been stale, like a storm cloud that refuses to move. The locker room feels disconnected, the fan base is restless, and the future looks foggy. This is why the upcoming offseason might be the most important in the team's recent history. Adam Peters took a gamble last spring by sticking with experience over youth, and it blew up in his face. Now, he can't afford to make the same mistake twice. The Commanders have only 6 picks in the 2026 NFL Draft. and that scarcity makes every decision count even more. There's no room for error, no margin for wasted opportunities. Peters must draft with vision, aggression, and a long-term plan, something the franchise hasn't truly had in years. Bringing in someone like T.J. Parker would be a statement that Washington is ready to embrace the rebuild for real this time. No more pretending to contend. No more half measures. Just a full commitment to youth, speed, and upside. It's not hard to imagine the impact Parker could have if he does land in Washington. Picture it, a rejuvenated defensive front with Parker flying off the edge, bringing back that ferocious energy that once defined this team during its best defensive years. Imagine pairing him with a healthy Armstrong, creating a dynamic duo that quarterbacks dread facing. Add in a few smart free agent signings, and perhaps another young piece or two in the secondary. And suddenly the Commanders' defense starts to look like something again, not just old names on big contracts, but a unit with hunger and identity. But that's the beauty and the pain of mock drafts. They give us a glimpse of what could be, even when reality feels bleak. Fans know that a lot can change between now and draft night. Prospects rise and fall, injuries happen, trades shake up the board, and GMs sometimes overthink themselves into mistakes. Still, for now, the idea of T.J. Parker in a Commander's uniform offers something this fan base hasn't had much of lately: excitement. Real excitement. The kind that comes from imagining a future that's not built on nostalgia or desperation, but on potential and progress. Clemson might not be giving Parker the spotlight he deserves this year, but NFL scouts are watching closely. They see the explosiveness. They see the maturity in his game despite his age. They see the effort, every snap, every chase down, every play where he fights through double teams just to make contact. Those traits translate, no matter what the scoreboard says. And for Washington, that kind of relentless motor is exactly the DNA they've been missing. It's easy for fans to lose faith when the product on the field looks this bad. The Commanders have spent years in a cycle of false hope, brief flashes of promise followed by the same disappointing endings. But every rebuild has to start somewhere, and sometimes it starts with a single pick that changes everything. That's what this mock draft represents. A turning point, a reset, a reminder that even when things look darkest, there's still a path forward if the right decisions are made. So as Commanders fans scroll through mock drafts and vent their frustrations online, this one stands out. Not just because it's realistic, but because it feels like the beginning of something that finally makes sense. Adam Peters might not have made moves at the trade deadline, but when the draft rolls around, he'll have another chance to prove he has a plan. And if that plan starts with T.J. Parker, it could be the first step toward a genuine new era in Washington. In the end, this isn't just about a single pick. It's about philosophy. It's about learning from failure, embracing the need for youth, and rebuilding the Commanders into something fans can once again believe in. The post-trade deadline mock draft might only be speculation, but for a fan base starved for direction, it's enough to reignite the imagination. T.J. Parker might not wear burgundy and gold yet, but in the hearts of Commanders fans dreaming of better days, he already represents something bigger: hope. And for a team that's been lost in its own mistakes for far too long, that's worth everything. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Terry McLaurin has finally spoken. And let me tell you, what he said is shaking the NFL to its core. For weeks now, insiders, analysts, and fans have been whispering about the state of the Washington Commanders locker room, the front office, and the overall trajectory of a team that seems stuck in a loop of mediocrity. But until now, nobody in the league had the courage, or maybe the platform, to say it out loud. Terry McLaurin, the star wide receiver who has carried this team on his back more times than anyone can count, just dropped a bombshell that has everyone talking. Sources close to the team say McLaurin did not hold back. He didn't use diplomacy. He didn't choose his words carefully. According to insiders, he basically said that the Commanders desperately need reinforcements across the board, on offense, on defense, and in the trenches, but the front office seems content to watch from the sidelines and do nothing. Nothing. This is the kind of statement that, in other franchises, could result in fines, suspensions, or internal reprimands. But in McLaurin's case, it seems to have ignited a conversation that was long overdue. The star receiver is not just pointing out deficiencies, he's calling out inaction. And that's a narrative the NFL has rarely seen voiced so openly from a player still under contract. Imagine the weight of those words. A player publicly questioning the very people who are supposed to be building a winning team around him. The ripple effect is enormous. Analysts are now debating if this could finally force change in Washington or if it will deepen the divide between the locker room and the front office. Everyone in the league is asking the same question. Will the Commanders' management finally listen, or will this just blow over as another headline in an offseason full of speculation? What makes McLaurin's statement so shocking is the context behind it. We all know he has been a model of professionalism, the kind of player coaches dream of having. He has never complained publicly about teammates, schemes, or management decisions. He's never been the guy to stir the pot. And yet, there he is, making waves that could reshape the entire narrative around Washington. Sources say that internally, McLaurin has been frustrated for some time. He's seen the team struggle game after game, season after season, and has watched talented players come and go without the front office addressing the real gaps. The Commanders' roster has glaring holes, particularly at key skill positions, but management has been criticized for slow responses, questionable draft choices, and trades that seem more reactionary than strategic. According to insiders, McLaurin's words are not just frustration. They're a reflection of what many in the locker room have been feeling privately. And now, for the first time, that sentiment is out in the open, broadcast to the entire NFL world. The timing of McLaurin's comments couldn't be more explosive. This is a team that has been underperforming for years, a franchise rich with history but starved for recent success. Fans have been vocal on social media. Analysts have dissected every move of the front office, and yet, action has been minimal. McLaurin speaking out publicly adds fuel to a fire that's been smoldering behind the scenes. The rumor mill is spinning fast, with whispers of potential trades, free agent signings, and even internal shakeups in management. Some insiders hint that McLaurin's bold move may be a strategic play, a calculated risk to push the front office into action before the next season begins. But others see it as pure honesty, a player reaching the limit of patience and deciding to speak for the team as a whole. Either way, it's rare to see this level of candor from a player who is not only crucial to his team's success, but also one of the most marketable athletes in the league. And let's not underestimate the broader implications. The NFL is built on perception and narrative. When a star player like McLaurin openly criticizes his own organization, it sends shockwaves far beyond Washington. Rival teams are paying attention. Media outlets are amplifying every nuance of his statement. The rumor factories are running at full capacity, speculating about who else might be dissatisfied behind closed doors, which coaches are on the hot seat, and what the ripple effect might be if McLaurin's call for reinforcements is ignored. Some insiders are even suggesting that this could influence McLaurin's future with the team, hinting at a potential departure if the front office doesn't get serious about addressing roster weaknesses. This is not a small story. It's not a subtle critique. It's a seismic event in the ongoing saga of the Commanders franchise. What makes this situation even more interesting is the potential domino effect on the locker room culture. McLaurin's outspokenness could embolden other players to voice their frustrations. When a leading figure takes a stand, others often feel empowered to follow. We're already hearing whispers of other veterans who have quietly been voicing concerns about lack of depth, inconsistent coaching strategies, and management's inability to secure key talent. If McLaurin's statement is the spark, the next few weeks could see a dramatic shift in internal dynamics, with players, coaches, and executives all navigating a landscape that suddenly feels charged with tension and possibility. The Commanders' front office now faces a high-stakes challenge. Either respond to these concerns in a meaningful way or risk further eroding trust among the team's most valuable assets. And, of course, the fanbase is reacting in real time. Social media has exploded since the news broke, with passionate debates about the legitimacy of McLaurin's complaints, the competence of the front office, and what the next steps should be. Some fans are rallying behind McLaurin, praising his courage to speak truth to power. Others are concerned about the potential fallout, wondering if this public criticism could destabilize the team. The combination of McLaurin's influence, the team's pressing needs, and the front office's reputation for inaction has created a perfect storm of speculation, analysis, and outright rumor. The NFL world thrives on stories like this, and McLaurin just gave it a blockbuster. The bigger picture here is not just about one player or one franchise. It's about the culture of accountability in professional football. McLaurin's revelation forces every team, every coach, and every executive to consider a difficult question. What happens when players decide they won't stay silent? When stars speak up, it can either catalyze positive change or create upheaval. The Commanders are now at a crossroads. Will they take bold steps to reinforce the roster, address the team's deficiencies, and honor the voice of a player who has consistently delivered on the field? Or will they maintain the status quo and risk losing not only McLaurin, but also credibility within the league? Insiders suggest that the next moves could define the franchise for years to come, impacting draft strategies, free agent negotiations, and even the team's public perception. Rumors are swirling that McLaurin's comments may already be influencing potential trade talks. Other teams are reportedly taking note, evaluating how McLaurin's skills and leadership could fit into their own rosters. Meanwhile, within Washington, speculation is growing that management might finally be forced to make key signings or reallocate resources to shore up weak positions. The narrative is shifting from what the Commanders have been doing to what they must do to retain their star and build a competitive team. In sports, timing is everything, and McLaurin has delivered his message at a time when it cannot be ignored. Analysts are dissecting every syllable, fans are debating every nuance, and rival franchises are calculating potential opportunities. It's a chessboard where every move counts, and McLaurin just changed the rules. In the end, one thing is clear. Terry McLaurin has given the NFL something it rarely sees, an unfiltered, unvarnished critique of a team from within. He didn't hedge, he didn't soften, and he didn't mince words. He called out deficiencies, questioned the front office's priorities, and issued a clarion call for action. Whether this leads to immediate changes, long-term strategy shifts, or internal tension, it has unquestionably altered the conversation around the Washington Commanders. And the most compelling question remains: will management rise to the occasion, or will this bold move by McLaurin mark the beginning of a larger schism? Rumors, speculation, and insider whispers are already swirling, and if the past is any indicator, the NFL will be talking about this for months to come. One thing is certain: Terry McLaurin has made his voice heard, and the league will never look at Washington the same way again. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.